Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for ExpertDivision in the Celtic Cup Tournament. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start with the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell button so you get a notification every time there's a new video or a new live stream. Sign up on patreon.com if you do want to have the updated text guides. You have a link in the video description down below, and the updated text guides will give you pinpointed information on how to take the shots in this tournament, all from the par 3s to par 4s, par 5s, obviously. Visit golfclashtommy.com to check out the other playthroughs and all other Golf Clash related content that we do have to offer. So we are going. Before we check out the video, I want to say that on hole number 8 I'm going to give you two types of play. The reason I give you that, it's due to the fact that I do believe it's positive things with both sides, there's negative things with both sides. That's the only one I do a double approach. I am keeping myself with Kingmaker only on the par 3s, but I'm going to mention where I do feel where we could maybe try an alternative route using like wind 5 balls and stuff like that. I will complete with a more special approaches in Expert going forward this week with wind 5 approaches and stuff like that. That is something that is going to be new for ExpertDivision, but as there is more and more players playing with special balls in the tournament, I want to include if I do find a shot that is going to be working in a very good way. So let's go to the video and hole number 1. 10% extra, and we're going to play to the left. Reason I want to play to the left here is, I would say, almost purely due to the wind that we're having. Like having the crosswind tailwind makes the rough bump being way easier than it would be otherwise. I'm changing it to a Kingmaker as I do want to reduce the wind as much as possible for the second shot. The drive doesn't really matter, that we will handle anyway. 4 to 5 bars of topspin depending on what you want. I would say 4 bars is enough. And we're gonna play with max side spin to the left, and we're going to start with the red ring by the rough line to the left as well. Great shot to the left. It's not gonna hurt us, it's more gonna help us, honestly. And we put ourselves there in the center of the fairway. We're looking for a yardage that is going to be around 350. But now 347 is the number, and now I'm going to play medium distance with nothing extra. And due to us going from a slight higher point to a slight lower point, I'm going to start on a higher position. I'm gonna first start with lining up at the hole, then I am going to, in that case, adjust my rings. After I've added, you can see that little addition I did with approximately 1/3 of the ring pushing up a little bit, just to compensate for the loss of distance already from the start, instead of having to do that in the end. Then I adjust medium distance and we get the ball to come very nicely down, and we drop that one for an eagle. I would say add maybe a little bit more topspin than I did, as you can see how close we were from going short. Hole number 2. Here I'm playing with a sniper max backspin. If you don't have the sniper in this level and don't have the backspin amount, then you can play with the guardian and try to replicate the same type of shot. I do believe with this type of wind, to prevent ourselves from having a problem bouncing down into the left, if we go back and play with the Goliath, then we're gonna play this type of shot. Medium distance with 15% extra. We leave the ball guideline to be approximately 1 green square short of the pin. And I want you to be around half a green square to the right of the pin. Now we're aiming at the pin, with obviously before the pin a little bit, but still at the pin. And as you see here, we're coming in very nicely, but taking the turn a little bit too quickly, and therefore we need to aim on the right side of the pin a little bit. Then we can definitely get that one in the hole. Hard one though, hole number 2, especially as there isn't really a good line to bounce the ball up towards the pin. Hole number 3, and here, for those of you playing with, let's say, an Apocalypse 5 Plus, you are able to clear the rough directly on the top. Not maybe clear it completely, but bouncing into the rough and roll out at least, which is going to make the second shot being way easier for you. But for those of us that are having an extra mile, or we maybe are having like a lowered extra mile or a lowered apocalypse or a Thor's hammer or something like that, then we're gonna play with 3 bars of topspin and start at maximum position, and then we're gonna adjust for maximum distance plus 10%, and we're gonna let the ball roll down there, trying to gain as much distance as we possibly can there towards the rough. We can almost go with 3.5 bar topspin to just, you know, give ourselves a little bit more there. Now we do need a club that gives us distance for the second shot. It's either going to be the big dog, or for my end it's going to be the cataclysm, as I do have that one in level 6. We need to make sure here now, when we do adjust, that we do push up 2 rings after initial adjustment. The reason that we do that is to compensate for the loss of distance due to dropping down from a higher point to a lower point, and then the game works like that we're, if so, going to lose distance. So we're coming in very nicely here, and I'm not expecting this one to drop for an albatross at any point, but if we can get it close, we might be lucky getting there eventually. Hole number 4, 20% extra, and I'm playing with a power 3 ball. And the reason I play with a power 3 ball is to keep myself with maximum distance of my club, as I would otherwise have a problem trying to play with a lower power ball as due to the tailwind. As you can see here, I'm using 4 bars of a side spin to the right, and we are using 1.5 bar backspin, aiming very close to the rough line there on the left. But that's not going to be any problem, as the ball is going to get a natural bounce to the right here. So therefore we need to start on the left side more towards that. Technical adjustment though, but it's definitely going to be a possibility to drop this one. Coming in very, very nicely, and just missed that cup on the left side as my battery almost ran out as well. Good chance though, and I definitely feel that going forward we can absolutely drop that par 3. Hole number 5, max side spin to the right, and we go with 3 bars of top spin. We don't need more. Play with the quarterback, so you give yourself the ball guideline. It's going to be so much easier with everything. So make sure here that you play maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and you start at, you know, not in complete maximum distance, but you start very close to it. But make sure that you're not going into overpower, and that's otherwise going to be a problem. 3 bars of topspin, as you can see, is going to be enough, and one getting there to 310 is going to give ourselves a possibility making the rough bump. And that's also the reason we play with a power 3 ball, to be able to make the rough bump, as not making the rough, not getting that far is going to make ourselves having to be in between clubs, so we'll have to go with a long iron instead of a short iron, and then that's going to be different obviously when it comes to the adjustment. Now I'm adjusting this one not correct. I'm adjusting this one for 5% extra, which in itself is correct, but I'm adjusting too little. So we're gonna miss this one on the left side. We can see that already from the start that it turns left. Just a little bit though, but we need to really dial that one in. Very good chance, in my opinion, making an eagle from distance on hole number 5. Hole number 6, 20% extra. Here you can choose. So you can either go with a power 3 ball or a power 4 ball or a power 5 ball using a big topper to try to gain as much distance as possible. Or you're playing like I'm doing here, as you want to maybe reduce the wind for the second shot, and you do have kind of like a medium tight driver, or like a good driver like the extra mile level 8. Then you adjust down, you push up to max, and then we're gonna go with a little bit of overpower. Make sure that you're not going with this much, because this is a little bit too much. Just go with a little bit and make sure that you're gaining enough distance to bounce here on the fairway, and then you do want to not clip the rough, but as I did hit great left, I'm not expecting anything else to happen. Second shot, we're going to play with either the rough bump, or we're gonna play on the side of the rough. And in this scenario, I'm actually gonna play on the side, using first, at least the thought was to play with a sniper, but I miscalculate this one, And as you can see here, when trying to adjust back, I'm going to go into long iron, so I quickly change, and I'm gonna have to remember that for the next time, that we start with a long iron instead, because we don't want to go in between clubs. The second shot is going to be minus 10%, which means that it's going to be uphill. So really make sure that you are going to adjust that one properly, because otherwise it's going to be a problem for you if you over adjust that shot. Massive grade to the right, which is terrible, and this is going to be nowhere near, but at least you get the idea of how I want you to play hole number 6. Hole number 7, we're going to play with a kingmaker as well. Here you do have an opportunity if you play with a wind 5 power 1 ball max, then you can play with the quarterback to play the rough bump just on top of the bunker to give yourself, I would say, a better opportunity than bouncing here, especially when we do have the headwind. Maximum distance with 20% extra, we drop down into the sand, and the thing that I forget is to make sure to push up a little bit, so due to the loss of distance there. We're getting the ball to roll nicely on the green, but I'm not gonna say that I'm so close, but you know, minor tweaks where we actually compensate for the loss of distance by pushing up an extra ring in the bunker would maybe do the trick there, as then it would be having a more straighter line and not gonna go short. So hole number 8, and now we're going to play one time on the left side, one time on the right side. You decide yourself what you feel comfortable with. The left side is going to be 10% extra. If you do have a little bit of tailwind, make sure that you push up your club into max top spin, no side spin, and then you will have to go with overpower. And in this scenario, I'm going with max overpower, as you know, I don't like anything in between. And that's giving us distance and it's getting ourselves very close to the rough there to the left, but we managed to keep it in play. Second shot is going to be way easier from the left, as you can see on the wind here first and foremost, as it is, you know, a very good angled wind for us, that we have a good chance to get this one in the hole. Make sure that we adjust it properly, and we're not going to add anything for elevation for shot number 2. And that's what makes shot number 2 here from the left being easier than the one to the right, as from the right it's going to be a different elevation adjustment based on how far you're going to reach with your driver, and that's going to be very hard to replicate, which, you know, the second shot here from the left, it's easier to replicate. But then we do have the drive, and the drive to the right is way easier, especially with this type of wind, than it is than what it is to the left. You can rely on the ball guideline in a better way. You can actually use the quarterback, and I think if you're not having the quarterback in level 10, you might consider switching to another club. You could manage with a quarterback level 9, but I do think that the 1 bar less topspin you're having with a quarterback level 9 is going to maybe hurt your distance a little bit. We adjust for maximum distance plus 10% once again, and we're going to take our shot, bouncing over the rough, getting as much distance as possible without any overpower. Because here, playing on the right, I'm never gonna use any overpower. I just want the ball to slide down here as far down as possible. And as you see already, this one is gonna be played downhill. And the thing that I do here for the second shot is that I'm playing with 10% extra elevation, max top spin, and I'm going with as much side spin to the left as I possibly can. And then ball guideline to the hole, and then I'm going to adjust. Here though, we do need to change club. The Thorn has too little top spin. We need to play with the Hornet in this scenario, as Hornet has a little bit more top spin, as we do want to get the ball guideline to go through the hole when we start our adjustment. As you can see here, we are dead straight on. It's a very good shot, but we're not having enough speed to get to the pin. If we would be having the top spin or 1 bar more top spin, we would be able to reach. Hole number 9, and here, as you can see, I'm playing with Apocalypse level 7. Disregard that, see that more as the top spin wise. I'm playing with 6 bars of top spin, which is the same as you do have on Apocalypse level 4, X-My level 8. And that is what I want you to look at. The Apocalypse is very valuable here, even in a lower level, as you then can use the curl. We do want to go with almost max overpower. I would say take away a little bit as I do here in the example. And we go max curl, max side spin, and then the ball is gonna bounce on the rocks over to the fairway. Tough approach though, but it gives us a way easier second shot. We can lay up and we can then try to get the eagle from that way. But I do feel that here in Expert, we're gonna need to take this shot to give ourselves an opportunity from distance. Now I'm playing around a little bit with the ball guideline here to see if we can find a line that is going to be positive for us. I'm not gonna say that I find one, even though it looks like it, but the ball didn't really act as I wanted it to do when approaching the pin. Second shot is going to be 0%. The drive is also going to be 0% when it comes to elevation. And this ball gets a very dead bounce and not rolling that far, but it is for sure a way better opportunity than if we would be laying up and trying that way to get the albatross or at least getting the eagle. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is opportunities here in Expert. I do believe we're gonna see low scores. With low scores, I mean we're gonna see scores around 30, 32, 33, something like that to win. And now I'm talking about the score to win. Definitely way lower when it comes to making the weekend round. Make sure that you play it conservatively. You play it in the way that you feel comfortable with it. And obviously, if you do have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. As I stated in the beginning of the video, I will be adding alternative approaches to especially one of the par 3s with a more wind resistance ball if I do find a line that is going to be good going forward. So stay tuned on the channel to watch more content. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Thank you so much for watching and good luck in the tournament.